Hi guys, welcome to another video. Today we'll be studying Essay 265. It speaks about communicating deficiencies in internal control to those charged with governance. Now you have Essay 260 which speaks about communication with those charged with governance, but Essay 265 is sort of an extension to Essay 260. But Essay 265 solely focuses on deficiencies in internal control. Communication with those charged with governance, that is Essay 260, has a much broader scope. Essay 265 has a much narrower scope and is a much smaller standard because it is only focusing on deficiencies in internal control. Understand, the auditor will audit the internal controls of a company before auditing the financial statements. He will audit those controls that will affect the amounts that are appearing in the financial statements, that are going to affect the presentation of the financial statements. He will audit those controls, right? And any control in the controls, if he finds some deficiencies, he will need to communicate those to those charged with governance. Now the next question is, should he communicate all deficiencies in internal control to those charged with governance? Like any small deficiency he comes across, any trivial kind of deficiency he comes across, should he be communicating those also to those charged with governance? The answer is no. He needs to communicate only significant deficiencies in internal control. What is the meaning of significant deficiencies? Significant deficiencies are those deficiencies which are of sufficient importance to merit the attention of those charged with governance. Those charged with governance are senior people in the entity. They are on the higher ranks of the organization. They are the top people like the CFO, CEO, and the top heads of the company, and you cannot be bothering them for trivial kind of things. So that is why only when the deficiency in internal control is of significant importance in the auditor's professional judgment, he needs to communicate that to those charged with governance. So understand the flow of this standard. There is a diagram which is there in this PDF notes you can get on my Telegram channel. Link is there in the description. Username is CA Newton Lobo. Okay, so let's understand this flowchart now. The flowchart may first step is identify deficiencies in internal control. So while you are performing your audit, you will audit the internal controls and you may come across one or more deficiencies in internal control, right? Then determine whether deficiencies are significant deficiencies. This is a very important step. You need to determine whether the deficiency that you have identified is a significant deficiency. It can happen that you have identified 5 deficiencies and all of them are very, very insignificant, and you can just communicate them to management and not to those charged with governance. Maybe, official, because communication with those charged with governance as per Essay 265, that is this essay, will be in writing. It will be a writing management letter that you will issue to the those charged with governance. So it is kind of an official documentation which you will not need to prepare and send across to them if it's a very trivial deficiency. So it can happen that you may come across 5 deficiencies, all are insignificant, so you will just kind of finish off that matter with management only. You'll discuss it with them and close it out at that stage only. No need to kind of escalate it to those charged with governance. But if the deficiency in internal control is significant, you feel that in your professional judgment that deficiency is significant and warrants the attention of those charged with governance, then only you will communicate those significant deficiencies in writing with those charged with governance. And what will you include in your written communication? You will include a description of the deficiency in internal control and how it is going to impact, like because a deficiency is there, what negative impact it is going to have on the financial statements which is of concern to you. You need to describe the deficiency and the impact that it is going to have, and sufficient information to enable TCWG to understand the communication. You also have to give sufficient information to enable those charged with governance to understand what you are trying to say. You just don't write the deficiency, you also explain it in your own words as to what is the meaning of what you are trying to communicate. Basically, you are going to elaborate and give in more detail the deficiency that you have found out. Okay, so let's go to the first answer now. The first answer is, what is the objective of the auditor as per Essay 265? Again, now every standard has set out some objectives for the auditor. Every standard is made for some purpose, and this objective that the standard is being made to be met, that will be given in the starting of any standard, if you see the bare text especially. So let us see what is the objective of the auditor as per Essay 265. The objective of the auditor is to communicate to those charged with governance and management deficiencies in internal control identified during the audit and are of sufficient importance to merit their respective attention. Very, very important. Deficiencies identified during the audit and are of sufficient importance to merit their respective attention. Next, what are the requirements of SA 265? Number 1, the auditor shall determine whether he has identified one or more deficiencies in internal control. He shall further determine if they constitute significant deficiencies. The auditor shall communicate in writing significant deficiencies in internal control to those charged with governance on a timely basis. Notice the word timely basis. It's not like the audit is over and everything is over and then you come and say that there is a deficiency in internal control. No, it has to be on a timely basis, because you may say that there is a very significant deficiency, so we will have to qualify the report. We will have to give an adverse report because your controls are not operating effectively. No, you can't do that. You have to give them sufficient time to fix that error or to come out with some kind of compensating control. To compensate for that deficiency, you will have to give them that time, and that is why your communication also should be on a timely basis. Maybe you can do the oral communication first and written communication can happen later, but communication should be on a timely basis. Number 4, the auditor shall include the following in the written communication: A description of the deficiencies and an explanation of their potential effects. So you have to give a description of what your deficiency that you have found is, and an explanation of what is the effect, what is the problem that is going to happen because of that shortcoming in the control. Point number B, sufficient information to enable TCWG to understand the context of the communication. The auditor shall explain that, number 1, the purpose of an audit was to express an opinion on the FS. So the main purpose of the auditor is only to express an opinion on the financial statements. He audits the controls only as a part of his opinion because he needs to know that the systems which are preparing this financial statements, the numbers in the financial statements, they are working effectively and they are operating effectively, and that is why we also audit the controls. But your main purpose is always to express an opinion on the financial statements. Point number 2, the audit included consideration of internal control relevant to the preparation of FS. So we have also included the consideration of internal controls which are relevant to the preparation of FS. There may be many more controls like insider trading and all of those controls, or entity level controls, which we also test, but they are not of very significance here because we are trying to see internal controls which are relevant to the preparation of FS. Any control that is going to impact my numbers in the financial statements. Point number 3, the matters being reported are limited to those deficiencies that the auditor has identified during the course of his audit and are of sufficient importance to merit being reported to TCWG. So basically you are saying that these are the deficiencies I have found, and out of these are the significant ones that I feel merit your attention. Very, very important. Notice the first part of this third point. The matters being reported are limited to those deficiencies that the auditor has identified. So auditor is saying that the matters that I am reporting, they are limited to what I have found out. Now I have found is 5 errors that are significant in my opinion, but it is possible that there could be even 50 errors. I am not saying that I have tested everything and I am telling you only 5 are left, only 5 errors are there. I am just saying from whatever I have tested, I have found 5. There could be many more also deficiencies that have not come to my notice. So this is not some kind of full and final report that I am giving you. I am just telling you that while I have audited, I have come across 5 significant deficiencies in your internal control. And if you want to understand this answer properly, like in a more better way, this is the pictorial representation of that answer, so you can understand it much better. So the next question is, how should the auditor determine that a particular deficiency is a significant deficiency? Now this is a very, very important consideration. You have found deficiencies, but how do you know it is a significant deficiency? How do you know it is worthy of being reported to those charged with governance, right? So what are the considerations that the auditor will have to take into account? Number 1, the likelihood of the deficiencies leading to material misstatements in the future. So basically it is kind of affecting some material accounts, maybe revenue or some kind of material accounts that could cause material misstatements in the future. Point number 2, susceptibility to loss or fraud of the related asset or liability. So if there is a chance of a loss or fraud of the asset or liability, you need to consider it a significant deficiency. Point number 3, the subjectivity and complexity of determining estimated amounts such as fair value accounting estimates. Now determining the fair value of accounting estimates is a very complex process. It is a complex procedure, and that is why if the subjectivity and complexity of that account is very the amount is very subjective and complicated to determine, then also the auditor should consider reporting it to those charged with governance. Fourth point, the financial statement amount exposed to deficiencies. So let us say if it is some kind of 10 rupees or 15 rupees or a very immaterial amount, that account is having many immaterial amounts, then you may consider it is not very relevant or not very material from an audit perspective, and that is why it is not a significant deficiency. But if that account is dealing with very huge amounts, then it may be a significant deficiency. Fifth, the volume of activity that could occur in the account balance or class of transactions exposed to the deficiency. So if there are many transactions, maybe it is significant. If there are few transactions, maybe it is non-significant. But this is a very generalized assumption. There could be even less transactions, but those transactions could be of very material amounts. So that would get covered in point number 4. Even though as per point number 5, it may be insignificant since there are less number of transactions. But if there is a very higher amount of transaction, then it will get covered under point number 4, and you will still have to report it. So keep in mind all 5 points you have to take into consideration. So that is it. This is essay 265, a very sweet and simple short essay. I hope you have understood it. And thanks for watching this video. Do follow my Telegram channel. The username is CA Newton Lobo, and see you in my next video. Thank you and bye.